Hello everyone. So today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new 2017 Kia Niro. And special thanks to Heron Auto, Opel and Kia for allowing me to come down here and review this car for you guys today. For all contact information in regards to this dealership, please see the description box below. So in today's review, we'll be taking a look at the interior of the car. I'll explain how the features work, we'll also start it up, look at the engine, go over the performance data and take a look around the exterior. So you got the traditional Kia key fob. So we'll go ahead and power on the car first and then we'll take a look around the exterior. Key just goes in here. And one thing I should actually mention before I forget it is this car has the foot operated parking brake. So just put your foot on the brake and turn to power it on. Okay, so we'll put on the hazards, the headlights, front and rear fog lamps, and all four windows are fully automatic. So the first thing I should mention about the Niro is the colour. This one is finished in Aurora Black and there's 5 colours to choose from. So you can have this colour, you can have Temptation Red, Clear White, Platinum Graphite, and the last colour might be an interesting one to some of you guys who watch a lot of car videos on YouTube. It's called Deep Cerulean Blue. So for those of you who watched Me 150, you'll know that his first ever McLaren 675 LT was finished in a custom colour called Cerulean Blue. So perhaps somebody from Kia has been watching Shmi's videos and got the idea for that name. Other things I should tell you is the Niro is only available in one trim model called the EX, but there is an EX ADAS, which stands for Advanced Driver Assist Systems. And basically the ADAS will include smart cruise control as well as autonomous emergency braking. However, this particular model I have here is just the standard EX. So the Niro comes with these automatic bi xenon projector headlamps with LED running daylights as standard. And also down here you got your fog lamps with a nice silver trim to brighten up the exterior that little bit more. And although the Niro might look like an average run-of-the-mill hatchback, there's actually some clever bits of engineering and styling in here to make the car more efficient and aerodynamic. For example, underneath this grille here you have an adaptive aero flap. So as you're driving along, that opens to allow cool air in to cool down the engine. But then as you get up to speed, it actually closes to prevent drag and again make the car more aerodynamic. And then you also got these little gaps in here, these fins. So air passes through there and it comes out right here, as you can see, the exit ports. And that just allows air to curve around the car and again help make it more aerodynamic. You also got tinted rear windows as standard. And you can also have alloy wheels, but this particular one has the 16-inch steel wheels. As you can see here, these are just hubcaps. And then coming around to the rear, even the spoiler and this rear diffuser here have been designed to allow air to pass over the car more efficiently and allow for less drag. And you also got your reversing camera located there, as well as your aluminium roof rails. And at the rear, the car has been designed to look a lot like the Kia Rio. So boot space in the Niro is quite good. It offers up to 373 litres. So very average, typical hatchback sized. You also got your cargo cover. And there's also an extra bit of storage down here to the left. As you can see, I can fit my GoPro mount and the little bag there for my microphone and so on down there. And also underneath the false floor, you got these little trays as well, and underneath them you have a space saver wheel. And with the rear seats folded down, you do get a bit of extra space, so you can easily slide items towards the rear seating area of this car, no problem. There's very little in the way of lips or ledges. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the back seats. So this car has a full black leather interior. The seats are also perforated. And you got this piano black veneer finish as well. And as well, you got the model designation located down there on the sills. So it's actually a very roomy car. More legroom back here than I was expecting. As you can see, there's plenty of it. And the headroom is excellent as well. And you also got this center mounted armrest with 2 cup holders. You also got rear ventilation, and because the transmission tunnel doesn't bulge up too much, there is actually room for the middle passenger. And also you got rear quarter windows, so that just helps visibility a little bit when you're reversing. But overall, I have to say it's quite a roomy little car. So let's go ahead and get into the front. So as I said, you got your 4 electric windows located here. You also got your power folding exterior mirrors as well. And also down here to the right, you got your traction control, your lane departure, as well as your fuel filter cap release. So we'll turn off the fog lamps, put the headlights back into automatic, and turn off the hazards. So at the moment the car is actually sitting here on electric mode. Now when the battery, as you can see, the battery is indicated by the blue meter up there. When that goes down beyond a certain point, when the car is sitting here idling like it is, the petrol engine will actually kick in, and that'll stay on for about a minute, and it will just help recharge the batteries. Then the petrol engine will turn itself off, and the car will once again just sit here in electric mode. And you can tell it's in electric mode because it has EV written there. So the Niro has this very nice 4.2-inch active TFT driver's display, and you also got very nice white lighting for the gauges as well. You got Eco Hybrid written on the speedometer. And then over here to the left you got your petrol gauge as well, and then above that you have the charge for the batteries. And it says there EV, which is the electric mode, which is what we're sitting on at the moment. And you can also go through the trip computer by using this button located here. And then beside that you got your cruise control, and you got your standard Bluetooth and voice command controls. And it's a leather-wrapped 3-spoke multifunction steering with electric power assist. And you also got very nice white stitching as well. And also you got your automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, as well as your auto dimming interior mirror. So coming into the center console, you got this piano black finish again going around the car, and you also got your Eco Hybrid plaque as well. So you got a 7-inch touchscreen, and if I just go into all menus, you got all your different selections here. So when you have your phone Bluetooth, you can go through the Android Auto stuff. You can also obviously make your phone calls and go through your media and images from here as well. If I click into the Eco Hybrid setting, you got your 3 different screens. So if I pull up the energy flow screen, it's telling me at the moment we're in idle, but if I lift the throttle, the petrol engine fires up, and as you can see it is charging the batteries, but now it's gone back into electric mode. And as you're driving along, this gives you a live data feed basically of what the petrol engine, the electric motor and batteries are doing at any given time. And if we click into Eco Driving, so you got this eco level meter, you got the little mock-up of the Niro, and you got this little tree, I guess is what it's meant to be. So as you're driving along economically, this will slowly rise up to eco level, I think 7 it is, or eco level 8. And then when you're sitting here on idle, not driving at all, obviously that's less efficient, so that will start to go down. And then the tree will actually duplicate the eco level as well. So as it goes up, the tree will start to fill up and turn more green. And then you got your main trip computer as well. And you can just go through that and you can reset it, and it tells you everything about, you know, your average fuel consumption, your fuel use and your electric motor use, and so on. So if we go back here, you can pull up the satellite navigation, and we can also go back into that hybrid thing that I was showing you. You can also go into my menu. So I believe in your Bluetooth your phone to the car, you can go through many different menus here. You can set up your own custom menu. And then if we go back into this all menus, I'll just turn up the volume. Pretty good sound quality. And you got your choices here for AM and FM. You can also select your menu. Then you got your favorites, your list of radio stations, and so on. And back in here, you can also pull up the navigation from here as well. You can select between your media, your auxiliary and USB plugins, and so on from here. So it's a very nice 7-inch touchscreen, very easy to use. That eco data, you know, it might seem very simple, and it probably is, but if you're not used to that kind of stuff, you know, it might take you a while to kind of understand what everything's doing, especially with the eco driving. But it is a very nice layout and a very nice display, and it's easy to use. So let's just turn off the radio. And coming down here, you got your dual zone climate control. You also got your auxiliary and USB ports down there, and you also got 2 12-volt power outlets, sorry. And also you got this wireless charger as well, which I first showed you guys in the Optima. So you put your smartphone into this little pad here, and it will charge up the phone for you. No wires needed, thankfully. And the Niro also comes with a 6-speed DCT transmission. So DCT stands for dual clutch transmission. You also got your 2 cup holders. You got a tiny little bit of storage here. And also all the features I'm showing you in this car today, by the way, are standard. So that includes the heated steering wheel and the 3-stage heated front seats. And also underneath your leather center mounted armrest, you got a good bit of deep storage as well as a USB. And just looking up here as well, you've got your sunglasses container. So really, apart from the Eco Hybrid plaque, of course, and all the eco stuff you see around here, the interior is really just like a typical Kia. Very nicely designed. You get excellent amount of standard equipment. And these seats are quite comfortable as well. So it's a very, very nice layout. The 7-inch touchscreen is a pleasure to use. All your standard climate controls, and so on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the engine before we bring the car on a test drive. And the bonnet release is located just down here. So the engine, funnily enough, is where things actually get a bit complicated. It's a 1.6 litre petrol, but the complicated bit is the actual power outputs. Kia claimed that this car puts out 139 horsepower, so that's 104 horsepower from the petrol engine and 35 from the electric motor. However, Top Gear magazine claimed that it puts out 146 horsepower, so that's 43 horsepower from the electric motor and 103 horsepower from the petrol engine. So not really actually sure how much horsepower this thing is putting out, because I got two different quotes, but I'm going to go off Top Gear magazine's quote anyway. So as I said, it's got a total of 146 horsepower. It puts out 108 foot-pounds of torque, and it has a top speed of 101 miles per hour. And this car is also quoted at getting about 74 miles to the gallon. And as you can see, you got hybrid written there on the engine cover. And just some of the things for the electric motor itself. I should mention that the electric motor is actually located down near the transmission tunnel, and then the actual batteries for the car are located underneath the back seats. So we're actually starting to test drive out in the back roads for a change, and I have to say I've driven this car a few times before and the ride quality is excellent. I'm coming up to some very bumpy bits now, and the multi-link suspension is doing an excellent job. It's very comfortable, going over a few dips on the road here, and you really can't feel it too much inside. And it also handles quite nicely as well, and it certainly gets on the power well. As soon as you put your foot down, you can feel a good bit of power coming through, and the car certainly gets up to speed, no problem at all. But the suspension setup in this car is excellent, and it's just very nice and pleasant to drive out here. And going around some of these twistier bits, the handling feels very nice, good response from the steering rack itself, and it's a very, very pleasant little car to drive out here in these B roads. And also you got excellent on-road visibility, so I can see very well out through the rear window, and also you can see very well through the exterior mirrors. They're pretty good in size. But at the moment, I have to say the Niro is a very nice little car to drive. Comfortable, smooth, relaxing, relatively quiet I mean. I'll elaborate on just how quiet this car is out in the main roads in a moment. Okay, so coming out to the bypass, and I just put my foot down, the car gets up to a decent bit of speed. Obviously it's not as quick as a turbo diesel, for example, which is what I'm used to driving in these reviews, but it certainly has a bit of power behind it. So the way hybrid works is actually very simple. You got your internal combustion engine up front, which is acting sort of like a generator, and it is charging the batteries in the back. So in this case, they're located underneath the back seats. However, unlike most hybrids where you have a button in the center console and you, the driver, can actually choose if you want to drive on the electric motor or the petrol engine, the Niro doesn't have any of them buttons, so it decides for you. Now, for the most part, the car is using the petrol engine, but with the little gauge down here on the left, EV will sometimes come up, and that usually comes up if you're driving at low speeds around town, or if you're going downhill, for example, which is when you wouldn't be accelerating too much. The EV button the EV light comes on, which stands for the electric motor. So that there basically tells you when the electric motor itself is kicked in. But out here in the open road now, it's using mainly the petrol engine itself. But out here, I have to say, it's very nice to drive, and it's actually a very quiet little car. A little bit of noise from the tires getting in, which is inevitable, of course, but overall it's a very quiet and relaxing and nice driving experience. It's also a very comfortable and spacious little car, as I was saying. Out in the back roads, it's a pleasant car to drive, and it's also just very roomy in here, and the amount of spec you hit a standard, I think, is very impressive. You also got lane departure assist, for example, which is always nice to have, and you got your heated seats and your heated steering wheel, your dual climate control, Bluetooth, 7-inch touchscreen. It's a very, very well spec car, like all modern day Kias are. So, yep, the electric motor thing just came on there because I let off the accelerator. But overall, I have to say the little Niro is a nice little car to drive, and it's also a very important, significant car for Kia because, as I was saying, it's their first ever hybrid, and as you all know, the hybrid car now is very, very popular these days with the likes of the Toyota Prius, which is probably one of the most recognized hybrids out there, so this is probably the main competitor for it. Funny thing is though, this car actually costs about €1,000 less than a Prius, and it's better looking than a Prius. Comes with probably more standard equipment than a Prius. What else? It's got a 7-year warranty or 150,000 kilometers. So I think I prefer it to a Prius, to be honest, especially a new one, because I think the new Prius looks absolutely horrible as far as design goes. I have no idea what Toyota were thinking of. However, I am going to still take out a Prius and do a review and test drive of it because, of course, I am not biased. I have to review cars that even I don't like, but we'll see how it goes. But overall, I have to say, I'm not really surprised that the Niro is as good as it is because Kias these days, as I've always said, are excellent cars, great build quality, excellent to drive. And I think Kia, have done a very, very good job with their first hybrids. This is a very good sign for the company because obviously these days we're moving towards more economical cars, hybrids and electric cars, and everybody's downsizing these days to smaller engines with turbochargers, so you get extra power, but you have a smaller engine, so it's more economical and so on. So I think Kia is actually going in the right direction, and I think the company is doing very well for itself, and I can certainly see them making very good hybrids / electric cars in the future. But to summarize this Niro, just going to finish up the review now. I think it's a very pleasant little car to drive. I certainly like it. I think it's, really nice to sit in here. It's comfortable, loads of room. The styling is, I don't know, it's not bad, to be honest. I think, it's kind of fairly subtle, average styling. It doesn't look crazy, which is actually the point because Kia said when they were designing the Niro, they didn't want it to look like a hybrid. They wanted it to kind of just look like a normal kind of car, blend into the background. It's only really when you get up close to it and you notice the badges and the little hints around the car that you then realize it's a hybrid, whereas some other hybrids, they make it very obvious with the styling and the badges, for example, and so on. But with Kia, they've made it a little bit more subtle with the Niro. So overall, I think it's a great little car, and as usual, I will post all the details regarding it in the description box below and all the details regarding Heron Auto. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.